Good morning, YouTubers. Okay, this is going to be my third review on the In Touch Ministries Bible, and the reason for it is because I wanted to talk about more of the covers of these Bibles and how each Bible is completely different in cover than its brother. So I wanted to talk about how it does seem as if it's almost a different Bible. The last reviews that I did. As far as the first review that I did on the In Touch Ministry Bibles, I forgot to talk about the cockling of the gutter. And so I apologize for it, my second review, which I forgot to say why I was apologizing. I just said, I apologize. So you probably see that and say, what's he apologizing for? Well, that's because I'm saying I'm sorry I forgot to talk about the issue of the cockling of the gutter, as far as, how it crinkles up in the gutter, which, again, not a big deal. But you see that that Bible review if you follow my username. The third review here is mainly on the covers. I did talk about the covers in the first review, but just not as much as I wanted to, or as much as I should have. Like, these are my first three videos ever to post on YouTube. Also, my first reviews on Bibles. And of course, when I got done, I thought of all kinds of things that I forgot to really talk about, or mainly emphasize or something like that. So I thought, well, maybe I'll just create a third video to give this Bible the review that it deserves. So just adding it to it. I added a lamp so we can get better lighting. That's cool, huh? So the other reviews might not be as bright, good of lighting, but this one is, I hope, a little better. So anyway, real quick before I run out of time, since we only got 10 minutes and I just recently learned that, so I guess we'll try to sum this up. The black, I talked about this already before, about the hubs, but I'm going to talk about it one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The hubs. Okay, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Alright, and on this one, same thing. 4 hubs. So, there's 5 hubs on the side here of this black Bible, and it's got a really nice print. The print looks pretty good on each one of them. Yeah, and they say the blue one doesn't print very well, but that printed okay. But again, as I mentioned before, on the black one, I got to get this into some light. It's more round, from here to here. It rounds off real nicely, like more of a rounder feel. Whereas this burgundy one, it's more flat. It's more like kind of squared off. Same with the blue. Okay, so they're a little bit different in that area. So they wrap it a little differently on the black one. Now, let's talk about the thickness and the grain of these Bibles and the differences. I want to go ahead and put this up to the light, and I'm going to let you see the grain of this black one. You see the grain? Isn't it nice? You can really see the skin there, that it's not just some bonded leather. Real nice grain there on this black one. Well, they're all nice, but you can really see it. Now this one, soft. It's smooth, but it's grainy. It's got a grain to it. You can really you can feel the grain mostly on it, more so than the burgundy. The burgundy one, it's more smooth. It's more slick, but it's not hard to describe this because the black one is a little softer, but this one's a little more smooth. So, but this one's had a little more grain to it. The blue one we're going to talk about in a minute because it's just totally different. The thickness, this is a little thicker in weight than it is on this one, whereas the blue one is even thinner. So the burgundy comes second, and then this is third. And it's it's almost kind of thick and patty, but not so thick where you can roll it right up. It rolls on you. You can actually roll this stuff. So it's still thin compared to a normal Bible, but comparing to each other, this one's thicker and it's heavier. You can feel it right when you pick it up. Whereas this one is not so heavy, but it's heavier than the blue one. The blue one is quite thin. There's not a lot of padding in that. It almost feels like there's a slight padding in there. It's kind of weird, but this one I can't really describe that because it's not. I mean, it's as thin as it could be. It's wafer thin. I mean, you know, paper thin, but it's patty almost. But anyway, as far as the feel, this one's a little slicker than this one. This one's a little smoother, but this one's a little slicker. This one's more grainy. The black one's more grainy. This is a bit less grainy, but as far as it's grainy and feel, but this one has a better grain to it in a sense the way it looks. I mean, that almost looks like a piece of skin. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it is a piece of skin, so I guess it wouldn't look like it. But real nice look to that leather. I mean, it's really nice. And then of course your blue one here has a real nice grain as well. You can really see the grain there, but it's not as skin-like as you'd see on the burgundy. You know, the burgundy is just so, you know, skin-like. Looks like the lines on your hand, you know. But anyway, so when we look at the inside lining of these Bibles, this is a real like it's soft and it's slick leather, and it's shiny, real shiny, soft, slick leather. It's like real slick, and it's the same thing on the inside of this one, made the same way. It's just burgundy, soft and slick kind of a feel to it. Whereas the black one, and hopefully you can see this, it's not as thick. I'm sorry, it's not as shiny and what's the word I'm looking for? Slick. Do you see? I'm trying to get it into the special. Okay, right there. You see that? You see how grainy it is? It's real grainy like all over. Okay, that's not like that on these. This is a real slick leather, whereas this one is a more grainy texture. Interesting. It's different than the other two. They made the black one differently. But it's still nice and soft. I mean, it's not grainy feel. It doesn't feel grainy to your thumb, you know, to your finger. But you can feel the grain on it. That's for sure. More so than on the blue and the burgundy one. But the differences between, okay, let me talk about this blue one because it's totally different. There is a chemical that they put on the blue one, and some like Bible publishers or Bible companies like DiscountBible.com and such, they never carried the blue one because I think they did at one point, but they stopped buying them because when you print your name on them, because of this coating that they put on the blue one, it doesn't print real well. But the coating in itself, you know, we talk about how soft and grainy these feel and how smooth they are. This one is not smooth. So when you hold this one and you just slide right up, this one, it's like a slip-resistant shoe. You know, I mean, it's like there's a chemical on it that makes it real, you know, rubbery-like. And now I don't want to mean to say that this is rubbery, because that might be a bad word, but this is the way I'm describing it. I mean, it's still a beautiful leather, and I like this one the most because when you do pick it up and you're holding it by the book block and you kind of angle it up, you know, it stops you from sliding. You don't have to grip it so hard. You know, they are a heavier Bible than a small Bible. They're not heavy, but they're heavier than a small Bible. So this one makes it a little easier to hold because it has that solution on it, whatever it is. I mean, it's just not on the other one. So it's not as... It's still a nice feel, but it's more... I guess I'm just going to say it. It's kind of like a rubbery kind of feel. I don't know how to say it, but it's different, you know. Not real bad rubbery, just, you know, a little more rubbery than these. These are real slick. So you just got to kind of grip it a little harder when you're holding these, you know, because it doesn't have that. It's real slick and smooth, whereas this one has that kind of a grippy feel to it. But yeah, so I do like this one the best because the thinness of this one lightens the load, and I just like the way that grippy leather feels. And of course, the New American Standard Bible, when it first came out originally, when the version was first published, it came out in the blue and the silver, you know, with silver edgings. So that was, you know, it's just my favorite Bible. This one here is just awesome. But I love them all, and they're all different in their own ways. And so that's really the differences of these Bibles. And I just thought I would share that a little more in depth as to, you know, how they feel, you know. And so anyway, just before this ends, I got 10 seconds, guys. Don't just read it, live it. All right, these Bibles are awesome, and maybe you've got some Premier Bibles as well, or Premium Bibles as well. But don't just read them, live it.